thanks for coming out. I just want to start with saying to everyone, I would appreciate if we really stick to the point of this press conference, and that's about this weekend and the 4th of July, and also what we're going to be doing next weekend. It's kind of bookends. People are saying next weekend's the 4th of July weekend, but some people are celebrating this weekend. So we're going to ask you to keep that. I want to thank Pastor Gerald Alter from 12th Baptist, who is here today to confirm that Commissioner Evans and myself have not broken up, and that we're still together. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for that. But just a couple of things. Number one is, as of tomorrow morning, we're declaring a heat emergency in the city of Boston. We're doing notification to all of our seniors in our city to let them know the precautions that we're going to have. We're expecting weathers to be 90 and 91 respectively over the weekends. We're going to be opening citywide BCYF cooling centers. We're going to have 18 pools open. We're asking people to dress appropriately. We're asking people not to go on long walks and not to do any type of extra exercise, particularly with the heat. We're asking people to drink plenty of water as well over the course of the next few days to make sure they're safe. If anyone has any emergencies, please, we're asking to call 911, and we're asking you, if you don't have any non-emergencies, you can call the City Hall at 311 or 617-635-4500. For any additional information, you go to boston.gov/heat. And also, if you see any homeless folks out there, we're asking you to kind of, if you think they're having distress, make sure you make those calls. And I appreciate that with the heat that's coming up this weekend. Secondly, we're preparing for the weekend, and we'll let the commissioner address some of the public safety concerns. But I just want to have a couple of announcements we'd like to make. On the 4th of July, we're going to have police presence, increased police presence around the Esplanade. And as the commissioner always says, and the chief always says, we are also going to be covering our neighborhoods with the same type of manpower. We're not reducing any manpower in our communities to take it downtown. So we're going to make sure that people have a safe weekend. We're asking people, if you're shooting, first of all, fireworks are illegal. And we have, with the heat that's happening this week, we're going to have a lot of dry wood around houses. We're asking people to be very careful if you're lighting fireworks off for public safety, not only for your own body, but also for the property in the city of Boston. We want to make sure that people are safe and have a safe experience. We're asking people not to drink and drive and take public transportation if you're going into the Esplanade or you're going around the city. We want to, so people are safe. Grills, we're asking to keep your kids away from grills. Never use a grill in an enclosed area, and make sure you have a fire extinguisher nearby so you know where it is in case something goes on, something that's really important. And also throughout the summer, we've had a decent stretch here in the city of Boston as it comes to violence, and tonight what we're doing is a peace walk, so all of you are welcome to do the peace walk with us after this press conference. But we've worked on a few things. Our clergy-led peace walks are continuing around the city of Boston. We're going to continue those peace walks as we go through the summer. National Night Out celebration is going to be August 6th and 7th. It'll be a Monday and Tuesday night in about a month and a half from now, where we're going to be doing different stops in the city of Boston. We're also, our summer job program is amping up. All the kids got out of school. I think the last day of school for everyone was this Thursday, those who weren't out, and our summer jobs are starting in a week. So we have our kids will be working, so you'll be seeing them out there. We're also working with our Operation Exit pre-apprentice program. We have a pre-apprentice class in right now that hopefully when those graduates get out of that class, we'll be getting them into the building trades. We have our neighborhood trauma response teams that are out there. Thank God, and they really haven't been needed that much in the streets. They're the folks that respond after a shooting, but we do have them ready in case of an act of violence in our neighborhood to get them out into the communities. We continue our youth community police dialogues. Our Teen Police Academy will be starting up. We're going to continue Operation Hoodsie Cup, where we go out there with ice cream for our kids and coffee with a cop in our different neighborhoods. We're talking about that. We're going to be working on making sure we have police presence in our parks, as well as the citywide bike unit has been dispersed into neighborhoods where there's been calls or concerns about high activity in crime. And I just want to say, in closing, one more thing. All we're going to say about the matter is that the news last night that was reported was full of inaccuracies. And I'm asking you today, this press conference is about summer safety, and we want to be able to make sure we get that information out to the public. With that, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Commissioner Evans.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, and thanks to Pastor Gerald. You know, every Friday throughout the summer, right up until Christmas, we meet here and we walk, and you know, it's great. We do a lot of peace walks, but I just want to thank Pastor Gerald and his crew here. You know, they're out here at 4:30 and they're out here at 6, and it really makes a difference. And hopefully, you know, we can keep this summer as safe as possible. I think what today is, and like the mayor said, is all about safety. You know, July 4th is going to be a busy one for us. Obviously, the weather is going to be hot, which, you know, always concerns me because we'll have a lot more people out and about. But, you know, we have a lot of events going on this weekend. Obviously, we have an immigration march tomorrow morning at City Hall at 11 o'clock. We'll have plenty of resources out there to handle that. I think they're going to march from the hall down to Boston Commons. So obviously I was in contact with FBI Director Hank Shaw today, and there's, you know, there's no threats or anything around that event. We have road race tomorrow morning, I'm at. We have, the mayor has trolley tours throughout the day, and then obviously we worry about, you know, the fireworks, and we worry about a lot of the loud parties. And our message, as it always been, is we want people to have a good time, but we want to be make sure people are safe. You know, over the last couple of years, we've seen a real increase in fireworks displays. I always say they seem to be better in this neighborhood than they are over the Esplanade, but, you know, we really want to discourage people from setting it off. People complain to us constantly. Like the mayor says, they are illegal. And in the years past, we've had, it seems every year we have 1 or 2 people. I remember 2 or 3 years ago, we had a young kid, I think he was 5 years old, blow his hand off. So, you know, they aren't harmless. So if we can send a message that, you know, fireworks are illegal and we hope young kids don't get them, we appreciate that. Loud parties, we're going to have a lot of extra patrols in these neighborhoods where we've seen an uptick in violence around July 4th, but also to address parties throughout the city. You know, last year we had 15 people shot over the July 4th weekend in 10 separate incidences. The year before we had 2, the year before that we had 9. And over the years, traditionally it's been a violent weekend, and with the weather and the long stretch, obviously we're looking obviously to make it as quiet and as peaceful, and we'll have a lot of extra resources out there. But, you know, it's always a challenging time. As far as the Esplanade goes, you know, again, no threats to that. We'll have a lot of resources on our side of the river, making sure that is a safe event. We encourage everyone to come down and enjoy the rehearsal on Tuesday night, as well as the fireworks on Wednesday. So we'll be out in force making sure that event. But bigger concern to me always is what happens in our neighborhoods when, you know, the guns, the violence, and we're going to be working hard over the next 5 or 6 days to make sure we don't have young kids getting hurt in our city due to gun violence. So, you know, this is, you know, always a challenging weekend for us. It's a great, fun weekend. But with it, we're asking people, obviously, to have a good time, but please, let's see no one get hurt.
Any questions regarding the summer safety strategy, 4th of July strategy?
Are you going to be doing sort of that multi-layered approach again on the Esplanade? Are you going to be using like heavy equipment and trucks to do blockades?
Yeah, obviously we will all along, you know, the street, the feeder streets in towards Beacon Street. Obviously when it gets onto the Esplanade, but we will have our eyes in undercover officers watching everyone as they approach the Esplanade. I know the state police and the governor's going to do a press conference on Monday, and they'll get more into the particulars, but I'm sure it's going to be the same stuff. Is, you know, leave the backpacks, leave the coolers. You know, we want to make this as a secure event as possible, but we will have the multi-layered approach, and they will be large capacity vehicles blocking wherever we have large crowds. It's just unfortunately become a new normal for us, and obviously we'll have a lot of aerial support from rooftops because of what happened in Las Vegas. So, as you know, as we've seen what happened yesterday, you know, around the newspaper place, you know, we're constantly on alert as far as new active shooter type events.
Commissioner, if you could speak about tomorrow's events. You know, the Women's March kind of grew really big, really fast. I mean, are there any specific steps you're taking? And also, if you could speak to the fact that it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I know Jimmy Hooley's here. They're going to have extra people out there. They'll have water. You know, we're asking people if they come, you know, please bring water, be prepared, make sure you have plenty of sunblock. We'll be out there, not so much in force. You'll see you know, the bicycles. We'll have a low-key approach. We don't anticipate any issues. I know, you know, there's going to be speeches by elected officials, and, you know, I think the issues here, obviously, you know, very controversial. So we're always gearing up for, heaven forbid, we have the wrong group show up.
Yeah, and a lot of tomorrow is also about encouraging Congress to act on a piece of immigration that they haven't, and deal with all of the DACA students and young people we have in our country. So that's, I think, a lot of tomorrow's immigration is sending a message to Washington that we'd like to see some action on immigration. I'd like to see some action on immigration. I think it's very clear where we stand in Boston as far as being an immigrant city in support of our immigrant brothers and sisters, and I think that it's important that we support them tomorrow, but also send a message to Washington. I think tomorrow is going to be a nationwide calling for every city and town around America to really try and encourage people to do that.
Hey, Commissioner.
Any other questions on the crime stuff?
Yeah, the crime stuff I have a question on. If I can ask you about, you know, June was a very tough month. You know, it's going to be really hot weather. Moving ahead, you're doing this peace walk. What else can you do to try to quell violence as the summer kind of goes on?
Again, you know, knock on wood, we've had a pretty good June. I think last June we had, I think, 34 people shot. We've had 17 so far. We had a triple the other night, but not that 17 is good, but we've almost cut the shootings in half from where we were last year. I'm always afraid to say that because I don't want to jinx us. You know, it's except those 3 shootings the other day on Draper, it's been relatively good start to the summer, and we want to continue it. So coming out and doing these type of events, doing everything the mayor said, a new wrinkle is we got Zumba in the park on, I think it's Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights behind English High. You know, we're looking for all kinds of ways to work with the community. But, you know, these peace walks send a powerful message that the clergy, the community, the mayor, all of us are working together, because there's nothing worse than myself getting that call at 1, 2, 3 and having to call the mayor when we have a young kid killed on the streets of our city. So that's what we're trying to prevent. All the programs we do, the mayor does to keep the kids safe, what Camp Harborview, Operation Exit, you know, all the summer jobs. You know, that's what it's all about, keeping our kids safe for the summer. And so, you know, we this next stretch, obviously, I always get worried. I always told you, I hate when the forecasters say it's going to be great weather, because, you know, believe it or not, when a lot of people are out, we worry about, you know, people getting hurt.
Commissioner, put these rumors to rest.
Do you want to say anything about that?
Well, all I can say is, honestly, I've loved this job every minute I've done it. I'm going to continue to love it. I want to thank the mayor. I can't think of a better guy to work for. So, you know, I hate these rumors that, I want to beat up the Dorchester kid here, but they're not true. I can't ask for a better boss, and I'm going to continue to stay focused on my job, and that's all I care about, and that's all I want to comment on, to tell you the truth.
Are you in talks with BC to head there?
Thank you, everybody.